When the light shines in the darkness, but the darkness comprehends not, right? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. We got to shine bright, man. We got to shine like a diamond, right? We and that's what we are. We brilliant, right? We gotta let our light shine, yo. You know, we gotta let our light shine because one thing about the light, yo. You know, I don't know if any of you guys ever been in the dark before, but if you ever been in the dark before, you appreciate the light, you know, because darkness is tranquility. To get a good night's sleep, you turn the lights off, right? You know, turn the lights off. But to get up in the middle of the night and to feel around in the darkness and to turn the light on to see and that light don't work, man, that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother thing, you know. Dragonfly Jones says you should have been practicing your art. Then you're wearing the dark. But what I'm saying is, the light is necessary to be able to see, right? To be able to see, man, we need to see what's going on. We gotta hear, and we need to see. We gotta feel, right? We gotta see what's going on. And oftentimes, man, when that light get cut off, when our lights get cut off, right? We ain't pay the bill. Oftentimes, when our lights get cut off, we can't see, and now we fumbling around in the darkness, right? And we think just because the lights are off that can't nobody see us, so because we in the dark and the lights off, we get pissed off and we start doing stuff that we know we ain't got no business doing, right? We know we ain't got no business doing that, right? But we do it anyway because it's a situation where survival, right? Only the strong survives, and we do anything to survive, right? Whatever I got to do, to put food on the table. I gotta feed my kids. Right? But it's a situation where sometimes in exercising, our survival instincts, it's a situation where we get beside ourselves, and when we get beside ourselves, the Most High, who sits on a perch, the highest perch, right, looking down on us. He sees us, right? He has the whole world in his hands, right? And he sees us. He's watching us, right? And when we start to do things that just don't make no sense, it's a situation where he does like mother, he does like grandmother, you know. After he trains you, he ain't gonna do a whole lot of talking. He just looks at you. And you see him looking at you, right? Sometimes we try to act like we don't, right? But he gets our attention and he looks at us. And in most cases, in most situations, once you get that look from mother, right? Once you get that look, to straighten up, right? Tighten on up, right? Most of us, right? But many of us, we still push the envelope. And mother, because she's, compassionate, she gives us warnings, right? The Most High gives us warnings, right? She says, stop. I was told not long ago that everybody knows what stop means, right? Carl, everybody knows what stop means. And that's what mother, that's the look she gives us. And the look is nonverbal communication. The look is saying, stop. Don't move. Hold what you got. Let me get that, right? Stop, right? Everybody knows what stop means. Just like I don't care what quote unquote race you identify with, all babies understand what at means. At. That means stop. Don't do that, right? Universal language, right? So the Most High tells us, he tells us to stop with this nonverbal communication. He looks at us. He gives us that look. And then when we don't adhere to his look, he gives us warnings. Not one warning, because, again, we all deserve second chances, right? He gives us several warnings, right? He gives us several warnings. And we still continue to do something or do things that we have no business doing, right? So what does the Most High do? When we least expect it, right? He teaches us a lesson, correct? When we least expect it, it's a sunny day, the birds are chirping, the weather is nice. We go outside and we jump into our car, you know what I'm saying? We put the top down, you know what I'm saying? We cruising in the wind, right? And out of nowhere, what does the Most High do? What does Mother do? She pops your ass, right? And we look crazy, especially when other people around looking like, why you do that? Why she do that for? You know why she did that. You remember what you did 7 years ago, and she been waiting for the opportunity to teach you a lesson concerning what you know what you did 70 years ago, right? You know what you did. It's crazy, those numbers 7 and 70, right? They say domestic bankruptcy is 7 years and international bankruptcy is every 70 years, right? So these are cycles, right? Especially in a boom and bust system, economy, right? He pops us. Why? Because we was being disobedient, correct? We got to tighten up, yeah. Yeah, we got to tighten this thing on up, yeah. Because it's a situation where things are getting out of hand. I've learned recently that one of the maximums in doing business is that it's imperative that we do no harm to others. And that's whether you're doing business in the public or private, right? We know in the public you don't do, business to where you're injuring people. We're not supposed to, right? Where it's a situation where the education now has become so degenerate that it's a situation where, many people are doing things in the public. They're doing it right in front of your face. And because we haven't been primed with, the information to be able to, even see what they're doing, it's getting out of hand, right? The exploitation, right? The fraud, right? It's not hidden. It's right in front of your face. Don't tell me about no tunnels underground where, people are transporting drugs or transporting humans or kids and things. Don't tell me about no underground shit with Underground Railroad, right? They are not doing that shit under the ground. They're doing that shit right in front of your face. But we have normalized many of the things that are detrimental to us. They're not hidden. They're right in front of our face. We can't see it. We can't see it. We can't even determine what's right and wrong anymore. Because, those that are slick have convinced us that things that are wrong are right and things that are right are wrong. It's backwards, right? We got to tighten up, yeah, because it's too far gone. We have the power to change this thing around. Only us. Unless, the Most High, gets to the point where he's had enough and, he sends us into the backyard. And what we go in the backyard? What he send us in the backyard to get? A switch, right? Because he's tired of our shit. He's tired. He's fed up. He send you in the backyard to get a switch. I don't know if you ever been hit by a switch or not. I remember my grandmother. My grandmother used to believe in corporal punishment. I don't know nothing about timeout. I'm just talking about me. I don't know nothing about count to 10. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I don't know nothing about punishment. But I can tell you about a switch, right? I remember my grandmother used to tell her kids. She said, "Boy, don't beat them kid. Don't beat them kids with no belt. That leather only toughens them up." Wisdom, right? That leather only toughens them up. Don't beat them kids with no switch. I'm sorry, no belt. You need to get a switch. I said, damn. I don't know if you ever been hit with a switch or not, but that leaves bruises. You might be bleeding a little bit. Then she puts alcohol on it afterwards. Salt in the wound, right? But just as mother, grandmother, grandfather sends us in the backyard to get a switch, the Most High has a switch. It's not the switch that you get off the branch of a tree. His switch is like a light switch, where it's on or it's off. We talked about the lights earlier, lights being off. I don't know if you've ever been without no heat, especially when it's cold outside. Lord have mercy. I can speak from a personal perspective. It's a situation where, I would never, ever volunteer, to have to be out in the cold. I can't stand cold weather. I can't stand cold weather. I love the heat. Because when the heat is on, when the heat is on, especially when it's cold outside, it creates a livable environment, a tranquil environment. It's, you can get something done, right? But when it's cold and miserable, and it ain't no heat, Lord have mercy. You're not turned on, you're turned off. You're turned off. And we don't want to be turned off. We don't want the Most High to turn the switch off. We want to be turned on. We want to be turned on. Well, turn that light on over there so I can see what this letter's saying. See what they saying. Boy, turn that light on so I can see what's on TV. You don't need to see what's on TV. The TV has its own light. Right? It's too dark in here. I need some light. And I get it. But oftentimes what happens is we start to forget. We start backing up. You hear that noise, that warning, when we start backing up. But the problem is, a lot of times when we start backpedaling, we never turn around. And it's a situation where, again, the Most High, looking down, has to come in and he has to intervene. And sometimes when it gets too bad, he has to teach a lesson. He has to turn the lights off. He has to turn the heat off. He has to take things away from you. Go it out right. Often. Why though? Because we're hard-headed. We don't listen. We don't listen. But one thing I can say about the Most High, he's just like mother. He's just like grandmother. Right? He's just like mother and he's just like grandmother. The pure love. And don't love always save the day? Come on, baby. It's going to be all right. Ain't that what love say? Don't worry about it. I got you. I'm right here. I'm with you. And we've all experienced some form of love, right? We can identify it, right? Come on, baby. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Let's just start all over. That's what life is about. Learn lessons, right? That's what love say, right? Yeah, that's what love say. It's encouraging, right? I know, baby. I know you done did this show 999th time doing the same shit, but don't worry about it, baby. You know, because the whole point is just to what? Learn from the lesson. It's to pass the test. If you don't pass the test, you're not going to the next grade, are you? Unless you get placed, right? Get placed. But you got to pass the test. You got to pass the test. Come on, baby. Don't worry about it. I know it's all right. That's what love says. It's compassionate. It cares, right? Sometimes love behind your back, talk shit. I'm so tired of this one. Gets on my nerves, venting. That's what love do. Love is, allowed to vent, right? You know how many times my grandmother threatened me and told me what she wasn't gonna do for me? See, you keep acting up, you ain't get nothing for Christmas. And she, would almost make you believe it. But on Christmas morning, you woke up, she was compassionate. It was, you had a gift under there. You might didn't have as many gifts as you would if you knew how to act right. But, you had a gift, right? What I'm saying is, if we don't tighten up, if we don't get things moving in the right direction, it's a situation where, the Most High is going to intervene. And he usually doesn't. He lets us try to figure it out on our own, right? But when we can't think past go, and if you're slow, you blow, literally, love tries to, comfort you. You did something strange for some change. Well, baby, I ain't never did that, but do you want something to eat? If love don't do nothing else, love is going to at least feed you, right? Love always want to feed you. Is you hungry? Do you want something to eat? That's all. It's love. Get something on your stomach, man. You feel better. You feel better. Eat good foods, right? Put that down, that saturated fat and that, put that stuff down, man. That stuff causes you to act, it causes bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's all right to eat meat, but don't be a meat man. Lord have mercy. Yeah. Don't OD on it because, it's a situation where, it causes us to, be aggressive, be too physical. You know what I'm saying? Be too direct, right? I was told recently, man, you just talk to me any kind of way, and I had to, take heed to that. I must be, no, I'm not eating too much meat. I must be doing something else, So it's a situation where I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong so that I could, change the tone of my voice so that I don't offend people, right? When I'm talking to them, especially when I'm being sincere, right? I need to find a better way to express myself without being offensive, right? Love, love can be direct sometimes. It can get straight to the point, and sometimes that can, taste a little bitter, right? But one thing about love is always there. Love always saves the day, don't it? So sometimes when we see love, when we see it, we got to recognize it. And if we see love and we doing something that's unloving, it's a situation where it's best that we, change our behavior. Love is looking. A warning has been given. And if we don't heed to the warning, again, we had a conversation concerning already what potentially is going to happen. Chaos, right? And don't get me wrong, experience is the best teacher. You know, mama can say, don't touch that, it's hot 50 million 11 times, yo. But sometimes it's a situation where we have to just go over there and we have to touch what she told us not to touch just to see if it's really hot. I mean, because how would you know hot if you've never touched hot before? You know, how could you determine cold? If you never experienced cold before, I'm talking about real cold. I think my toes done fell off cold. If you've never experienced that before, how could you determine what it is, right? Some will say the Most High don't love us. Why is we going through these things? Because if you didn't go through them, how would you be able to identify them, right? I was told recently, focus on what you like and not what you don't like. I said, damn, that's so heavy. That was heavy. Focus on what you like. Because if you always focused on things that you don't like, then you will only manifest those things that you don't like. No, that's that shit I don't like, right? But what if we just focus on the things that we did like, the things that we did do well, right? And focused on those things, right? I want to be a basketball player. Nigga, you know you can't play basketball. You are a painter. Be the best painter. I want to play football. Nigga, you don't even like to be touched. You're not a football player. You are a writer. Be the best writer. I'm a gangster. Nigga, you shiver when you go in the courtroom. Shiver, shake. You know, shake and bake, right? That's not what you are. You've been programmed to think that you're that, but you're not that. You're a comedian. Tell jokes and make people laugh, because just what laughter is. It's our hospital, right? Yeah, you're a comedian, man. I'm thuggish, rugged, boom, nigga. You are a soldier in the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, so on and so forth. I work hard. I'm a war veteran. Stop it. You have never shot a weapon before, except at the range, and you did 30 years in the military. Stop. I'm not knocking nobody hustle. I'm not knocking nobody hustle. Get that VA money if that's what you want, right? Disability, right? I've never seen a benefit in being disabled, but that's here nor there, right? You know, I was in the Marine Corps, and you know, when I went through boot camp, I remember them showing us all the, you know, the different individuals that won, you know, awards and, you know, Purple Hearts and, you know, Medals of Honor, right? And it dawned on me, you know, that those that won a Purple Heart were those that were injured. And most, if not all, who won the Medal of Honor, they received these awards posthumously. You know, they died. And what was neat about most of the guys that I saw, especially in the Marine Corps, most of these guys during the Vietnam War and so on and so forth, who died, you know, who won a Medal of Honor, you know, posthumously by dying, most of them died, if not all of them died, from jumping on grenades. Most of them died from jumping on grenades, yeah. They say the most honorable thing you can do is die or put your life on the line for your fellow man, for your brother and your sister. You know, save a life by sacrificing your own. That's the sacrificial lamb, right? It's the most honorable thing we could do. You know, but it's a situation now where this thing doesn't exist no more. I see guys win the Medal of Honors, winning the Medal of Honor now that they didn't die, they didn't put their life on the line, and those that the story is they did, it's usually a lie, right? We got to bring the real back. We got to stop fronting. We got to stop being fake. We got to be real, because it's a situation. If we don't come together, if we don't put this thing together, it's a situation where, again, those on high are going to have to come down. And when they come down, it's a situation where, again, it's not going to be pleasant, So we have to adhere to the horn, to the sound, right? We have to adhere to it, We have to hear it. And we have to adhere to it, especially when it's telling you right. Don't listen to nobody that's telling you to do wrong. But when something is telling you to do right and you still do wrong, you're hard-headed. And you might have to be disciplined, right? I'm just saying. Right now it's very humid outside. To me, it's humid, but it's cool. And it's weird. I'm like, how is it cool and humid at the same time? The other night I was looking in the sky and it looked like it was not the moon, it looked like the sun. And I was thinking, how in the hell is the sun shining at night? You don't usually see the sun shining at night, right? Not usually, right? I don't know. But they say when the light shineth in the darkness, the darkness usually doesn't comprehend as to why. So I'm going to piggyback on what I said earlier. One of the maximums in doing business is to do no harm or to not injure others. And it's a situation where I've noticed that, a lot of the things that are being sold in our communities, being advertised in our communities, there are things that are not of benefit to the people. They don't benefit the people. They're detrimental to the people. And often those that are selling detrimental things are those that don't partake in those particular things. They don't partake in them. You selling cars, but you gotta, your car is 20 years old, but you selling cars. You selling houses, right? Soliciting people to, sign mortgages, but, you renting, right? And if you ain't renting, it's a situation where, you only benefiting due to the fact that you're selling, houses. You're selling a product, a mortgage, right? Not houses. You're selling a mortgage. The mortgage is the financial instrument, the instrument of debt that's an issue. Not the house, right? Everybody's supposed to should have a house, right? The basic necessities, right? But most of us that are benefiting from most of the rackets, right? Whether they're in the private or public, most of us that are benefiting from them are those that are not partaking in them. They're not being affected by them directly, right? So it's a situation where what happens is we become cut off. And then we listen to these pundits who create these, these philosophies concerning things, and we accept these philosophies as truth when they're not the truth. I can't tell you about, not using drugs or not being addicted to drugs if I've never used drugs before? Right? I should not be spraying you with mace if I haven't experienced being sprayed with mace before myself to understand the effects of it. I shouldn't be doing that, right? So it's a situation where we need to be more responsible in what we're doing concerning the things that we are, soliciting, because it's a situation where people are being affected by these things. The Most High is the, he's the mastermind, and again, you talking about, being set up, you know, you do not want to be set up by the Most High because you will never see him coming. That's how he operates. You'll never see him coming. So it's best for us to focus on the things that we do best and stop putting energy into things that don't benefit us. Because what happens is the things that we hate, right? The things that we hate that we put energy into, right? The things that we hate is the same things that will, become parts of our lives. I can't stand drug addicts, a crackhead, motherfucker. That's what we say, right? Then that crackhead becomes your son or daughter, right? Becomes one of your family members, right? I can't stand that motherfucker, right? That's what we say. Because he gay. And I say, when has it ever been a bad thing to be gay? When I look in the dictionary, the word gay means to be happy. Ain't that what Pharrell say? Just be happy, right? I can't stand him because he's a homosexual. Okay. No, that's your opinion. But the same thing you hate, that'll become, part of your life. You putting your energy into it. Now it's your husband, right? Damn. We got to be more compassionate, man. We got to tighten up. Love is always going to save the day, but we have to also care, yeah. And I don't care about that shit. Fuck, no, I don't give a fuck now. We got to care, yeah. Because people are being affected by the things that we, are turning a blind eye to. I didn't say focus on the bad, but don't act like you don't see it. Because it's right in front of your face. Ain't nobody hiding nothing. It's right there. You act like you don't see it. But the Most High sees it all. He sees it all. All right? He's the all-seeing eye, right? So even when we in the darkness and we think nobody looking, he looking down on us, right? And this is something, this is not an easy thing to deal with. I was told not long ago, get used to being watched. I said, God damn. What when I want to, I get you watching, you gonna watch me? Okay. The watchers, right? They see it all. They see it all. They hear it all. And it's a situation where if we don't get it right, all, oh, oh my God, oh, that's so bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you. I feel so bad. That's all we're gonna have. It's all. We want to hear laughter, man. We want to hear babies crying and laughing. You know what I'm saying? Crying and laughing, right? It don't even matter. We just need the babies to come back, right? You don't really to see a baby now. That's almost like seeing an endangered species. It's just a great thing to have to have kids now, because we're not having them no more, because they done told us that having kids is a bad thing, right? No, man, that's the most precious thing you can possibly do, is to bring someone into the world that could possibly change it. You know, there are many entities that are waiting to come here, to change things, you know. But the only way to get here is to, you know, traverse through the garden, right? Lord have mercy. The garden of Eden, right? That's the only way you can get here. Yeah. If that's been cut off, right? If that's been blocked, then it's a situation where, how are we gonna fix this thing? How are we gonna fix it? We can't see it, but the babies can. We can't see it, but the youth can. Yeah, and we talk shit about the youth, but go have a conversation with them. They know what time it is. They know what's going on. Most of them are only following the leader. Well, we shouldn't have leaders. The person up front should be our representative, right? It should be our servant, right? Because when you up front, or when you in a public office, that's a servant position. They right here talking about some of their leaders, and they're not listening to nothing that the people say. It don't go like that. It does not work that way. The spokesman only regurgitates the intentions of the people, right? Of those that he represents, right? He don't make decisions on his own. He don't do whatever he wants to do, because that's not what that position is for, correct? It's a leadership role. It's an act. But, many of us is taking these things literally. We think that shit is important. That shit is not important. Or most important. What's most important? It's caring. It's showing love. It's being compassionate. That's the real wealth. That's the real wealth. I don't know if you ever been to jail or been incarcerated, but those that have been, they know that it's a term that, that people identify with, and that term is getting money. Been here 9 months. I haven't had an opportunity to, be touched by the opposite sex and things of that nature. So what happens? We may have to, go in the shower, or, go under the blanket, and, we might have to get some money, right? So the real value, the real wealth, the real money is the youth, is our kids. Those that teach science, some, especially in the conscious community, indicate that semen suspended in water is anatomically one and the same as liquid gold. The real money is us and caring about each other. That's the real value. That's the real wealth. That's the money, yeah. Don't waste the money, and I ain't gonna waste mine, so no more. Try not to anyway. Lord have mercy. That's the real wealth. Us. Well, the devil is a liar. The prefix DE means no vowel. And oftentimes when we are putting things on the devil or blaming the devil. Oftentimes, we're the only ones in the room. You know, we're the only vial that exists. And that vial is based on how we what? How we think. So we can focus on things that we don't like and manifest those, or we can focus on the things that we like, as long as it's not nothing retarded, right? And we can, live in tranquility, whether the lights are on or off. I don't have a preference. You can cut them on or off, it don't make me no difference. You hear me? So be it.